Hello friends, thank you for joining, and we are live, and I'm going to share this as I always do, a couple different places. So if you're joining me, say hello, let me know where you're from, where you're watching from here today, as I go ahead and share this in a couple places. I'm finding myself, there I am. And I'm going to share, hi Dina! Okay. I'm posting it there. And on my timeline. Okay. I'll share my local page just because I got a lot of fun stuff happening here. Okay. Hi Michael and Dina. Welcome to my guests here as I talk about 3 top ways to reinvigorate your master manifesting abilities. If you believe like I do that abundance is part of our divine inheritance, it is our birthright here as human beings living out as much of our infinite potential as we can here in this energetic space. We have been taught systematically, consistently to kind of disinherit this what I think of as our divine genetic blueprint of abundance. We've been taught all the ways we're not abundant, and you don't have to look much further than, you know, mass media to tell us how we're never enough. We don't ever have enough, our hair is never good enough, we're never skinny enough, we're never wealthy enough, we are never having enough love or the right kind of love or the right kind of support. I mean, whatever it is, fill in the blanks, right? We're constantly having this barrage of lack consciousness being put on us on a daily rate, really, at a daily basis. So how do you begin to then really see beneath all the layers of BS with that? How do you work with the real tangible creative energy that really is at your fingertips at any given time, given that you align with the belief that you are divinely abundant, that you align with the belief that I can create at will. If you align with the belief that if I desire it and I can feel it, I can be it, okay? So operating on this wavelength of understanding that you're a master manifester really involves those beliefs. And not only just beliefs, but being able to act on them on a daily basis. Because this is a very action-oriented and dynamic existence here on planet Earth. We can talk about calling things in on an energetic level and being in the energetic alignment with something, but then it is our responsibility in order to create and enact a reality to be able to act on those beliefs, act on those feelings that involve, yes, I am a master manifester. I am the master builder of my experience. Watch me as I do it, okay? This is how we are. And on a soul level, we know this. We are dynamically engaged with the co-creative process of the universe, that we are working with Source, but we are working as Source. If we understand this kind of rift in our thinking, that we always have this duality imposed on us versus I am this or I am not this, if we don't understand that we can easily close the gap on those two anytime we choose to, it can be a very disempowering experience, especially if you start really drinking the Kool-Aid and believing everything they're being told about you're not worthy, you're not enough, you don't have value unless you have this, that, or the other thing. That's more marketing and sales than anything else. It really has nothing to do with who we are on an infinite soul level. So we're really adept at being able to carry out this paradigm of disempowerment. We're really good on a daily basis of creating ways to put everything through and funnel everything through this filter of lack. And this is a big disconnect in us being able to close the gap between this is where I am and this is where I want to be. So I want to talk about 3 ways that you can start remembering this divine inheritance of your divine blueprint, of your blueprint of abundance, that you are an infinite soul being having a human experience, and there is nothing in this place that you can't have, really, that you can't be, do, or have. And the resistance that limits that only comes from us. And you can go on and say to me, but Catherine, there's this, and Catherine, there's that, and this has happened to me, and all of these things are going on, and I can't possibly have this in my life right now. We can go way down deep in the rabbit hole with all that stuff. But I am not here to enable. I'm here to empower. So if nothing else, if you don't totally believe in everything that I'm saying, just allow the energetic of what I'm saying. If you can kind of listen and feel into between the words and feel like if this is truth for you on some level, maybe it's time to start making some shifts. And this is a petition from me to you to empower yourself with taking some of what's here and just applying it, even if you totally don't believe it. Because sometimes we don't, we work here in an opposite way, right? Wayne Dyer said very brilliantly, if you can believe it, then you can see it. And oftentimes we work on the opposite, yet we don't believe it until we see it. But what if you could feel it first? Would that help you to believe it a little bit more? And then allow you to be in the energetic of being able to witness it here on the 3D plane. That's how it works. It starts as an energetic. Everything is essence, and especially as we're moving into 5D and moving into this ascension timeline, it's all about essence first and then form. So let's talk about a couple things here. So top 3 ways to reinvigorate your master manifesting abilities. First of all, awareness. Awareness is key. And one of the easiest ways to move into awareness with what your reality is right now, and because we've focused so much on what we see playing out in the external 3D plane, we believe what we see. So very much what is, like what you're looking out and seeing right now from where you're standing, maybe you're looking at me, maybe you can look out past your video monitor or your computer and see a tree, or maybe you see your cat playing with some toy. Whatever you see is. This is a direct correlation. This is how we understand our experience and make sense of our experience. We filter it through what is, okay? But often when we are, and here's why this kind of bites us in the ass, is when we are thinking of, I wish to create this, I desire this. Because we're so entrenched in this myopia, this kind of tunnel vision of, I only believe what I see, what I can touch, what is tangible, what I can taste and smell and know with my 5 senses. Anything else is not real. And that's a whole other discussion about what is real. When does real become real? When does it start to take form? When is the essence of what becomes real, or what you can witness on a 3D plane, when does that get conceived so that real starts like way back here, even though we're only seeing it here? What is real? But we understand our experience and we create a quality of our experience by what we see, what we can witness and know with our 5 senses. Yes? You on board so far? I love how you're conveying this message. I was just watching Greg Braden on this, and he talks about, I love Greg Braden, about this word for word. Yes, because it's so important, and it's a really, really pivotal time for us to really start understanding the dynamics of how we create now and how we are going into heightened levels of awareness and creation and being able to create at will in a very powerful way. So when you go into this space of, I want this, I desire this, aren't we looking right away for all the ways that it isn't there yet, based on our sensory perception? I want this. I would love to be able to manifest it right now. And by the way, we are moving through a timeline of very accelerated manifestation. So be careful what you say, be careful what you believe, because it's going to show up really quickly now. I did a live the other day about, think about the things that you've worked on, maybe a healing or release journey that maybe 10 years ago, it took you a really long time, a year, maybe more, to go through a healing and release, a journey of coming out on the other side of something in a positive way. Where now it takes like 4 or 5 days. Things are moving very, very quickly. It's the same thing with our manifesting. It's very accelerated. So putting these principles into practice right now will totally change your manifesting game. Finally understanding this, it's taken me 10 years to figure this out and how fucking simple it is. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So again, when we want something, we say, okay, universe, I desire this. I want to call this in. Because we are so wired to funnel everything through the filter of lack, we automatically, sometimes instantaneously, see all the reasons why it hasn't shown up yet. We look for all the external evidence of how this is not here yet, how I don't have this yet. So if we can first remove this from our level of awareness of how we filter everything through lack first, start creating a new level of awareness by filtering everything through a lens of abundance. So when you do this, you're able to see a lot more adeptly, by the way, that when you start asking for this thing and start believing that this can actually show up, having faith in the universe as your co-creator versus hope, these are two totally different energetics, by the way, that it's just going to show up, that it's a foregone conclusion, it is easier for us to look at all the ways that it's starting to trickle in. Meaning, if you are asking for something like I just did, I manifested 2 big things this week, and it was really powerful, and I'm on a super turbo cycle of like exhilaration and excitement and feeling like, yes, okay, I don't know how many times it's going to take me to prove to myself that I am a master manifester, but I've done it again, and it's awesome. So I'll give you an example. One of the things that I was working on manifesting, I live here in Lake Tahoe, and I want more of a local clientele, and I wanted to be able to do more live talks, be more of a public speaker, lead sort of group retreats or even group talks or in-person group masterminds. And so I hooked up with one of the local associations here that is the Young Professionals of Lake Tahoe, and I think that's the name. I think there's more to it, but I reached out to one of the co-directors of this group and let him know what I do, that I talk about wealth and success consciousness, but I merge it with mindset and energy healing, and how this is creating a new paradigm of thought around how we physically manifest wealth, but how we feel into it first. He was totally intrigued by it, very excited about it. We sat down, we had a talk. Next thing you know, I started getting more people reaching out to me on my local business page and asking me to show up and do more live talks, including some of the yoga centers here who asked me to do some of my goddess activations for them before their yoga classes. And this is for men and women, by the way. Hi, Christine. And what I was noticing, that before this manifested, I was looking for the cues of abundance and the clues of abundance, the trail of abundance that was allowing me to anchor into faith versus hope. Like, hope is really attachment to possibility, whereas faith is like having that foregone conclusion. It is that feeling of expectation, that foregone conclusion. It's just going to show up. And now all I have to do is look for cues for that. Just follow the trail of breadcrumbs. And when I chose to opt for that energetic, and I chose to align with that, I started seeing like a bump in the amount of interaction I had with people on my YouTube page. There were people locally who were looking at my YouTube page and watching my videos. There were people who were seeking me out and asking me questions here. I started getting in more conversations around town when I was going to buy a coffee or going to get a juice or something like that, or going to the grocery store. Someone recognized me in the grocery store the other day. It was wild because they had checked out my business page and watched some of my YouTube videos. I started seeing the evidence of all the things through the filter of abundance, rather than seeing, okay, this isn't here yet, this hasn't shown up yet, why isn't this shown up yet? Does that make sense? So the awareness is really key. And another thing to help you anchor in some awareness is to ask yourself, what is the feeling I'm searching for? So when you state what it is that you are desiring, okay, and you think of, let's just say, I like to put it in this context, that when I desire something and I ask the universe for something, I take it into my heart. Because in a sense, your desire is a compass, and what you put in your heart is your true north. Because what you put in your heart ripples outward, and it does create an energetic, a rhythm that establishes itself and helps you to create the momentum of perpetuating things around this desire, like how it makes you feel. If you take it into the heart, it will do that for you every single time. So taking this into my heart and asking, okay, well, I want this. I want to be able to be more of a presence here locally, have more of a local clientele, and have more of a high-end clientele here. I work with women from all income ranges, but I'm better able to serve those who don't have the kind of money to work with me at $1,000 an hour or $1,000 for a VIP day, to be able to work with me, to still offer them courses that can meet them at their income level and be able to help them have huge shifts. And the reason I'm able to do that is because I do have a certain amount of high-end clientele who pays me anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 based on the time increment we work with each other. This allows me to show up and serve in the ways that I have chosen to serve, which is to help as many people as I can while I'm here. So yes, the heart-brain connection, absolutely, Michael. So I started looking for all of this. I started looking into the feeling of, when I ask this, what is the feeling I'm searching for? Financial independence, yes. Okay, go even deeper. What does financial independence mean for me? Well, it means for me that I'm able to have more time to volunteer. That means I can have one more day of the week where I don't have to be in hustle mode with my business, and I can show up at the Women's Violence Center here and do another day of talks with women on female empowerment. That means that I can tithe more to the charities that I care about. It means that I can set up programs for people who don't have as much money to spend on me for, you know, $1,000 VIP day or whatever, and are just trying to get through the next threshold of their abundance, and they need help with that. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to help people at all points on the spectrum of financial independence. And that means me being financially independent. So that's what that's how that serves me, that feeling of being able to help, that feeling of really being able to be in service versus servitude. Because if you're not making any money, if your business is an expensive hobby, you are in an energy of servitude rather than service. Totally different energetic, by the way. One's super empowering and the other one isn't. I'm going to leave it to you to guess which one is not super empowering. What's the feeling I'm searching for? This is awareness of all the feelings coming up then that are also running counter to that. Meaning, when I really wanted this, automatically my fear of being more visible. Like, it's one thing to talk online to all you wonderful people, but the one-on-one, in-person thing, talking to a group, is something I really do shy away from. But if I really want this to be, I have to move past that. So I also have to honor that I have that feeling of, I'm scared to be visible at that level. Which brings me to the next point. Where are you in self-deception? So if you've got clear with your desire, and you say, what is the feeling I'm searching for? And you get that. I want to be happy. Okay, we'll go down the rabbit hole a little bit further. We need to dig deeper than that. I want to be happy. Because what I want to be happy means is not clear enough to the universe. What does happiness mean for you? Do you want to wake up in joy in the morning, every morning, and go to bed feeling joyful every night? Do you want to have better interactions with people in your family, with friends, with coworkers? What does happiness look like? Better yet, what does it feel like? Okay? So, what are you doing on a daily basis to either align with that feeling that you're asking for, that feeling that you're searching for, or to take you out of alignment with that? This is where we get into self-deception. This is where we get into self-delusion. Because we often think, and I can't tell you how many times I have encountered this in sessions with women when we're working on their manifesting. We're working on, this is what I want, here's where I am, this is where I want to be. Okay, great, let's start breaking it down. Let's start reverse engineering all of this stuff. If you know the feeling that you're searching for, fantastic, and you're really clear and you're really concise and it's crystallized, let's work backwards from there to help you get from here to there. And I can't tell you how many times I work with women, and a few men too, but this is more of a thing that comes up with women. I wish it wasn't the case, but it's true. Of that feeling of, all right, but I've done all this work. I've peeled away all these layers. I've done so much work, Catherine. I've done the looking at all the stuff. I've done the shadow work. I've done all that stuff. And then I ask them, and sometimes they get mad at me, okay, Well, is what you want here yet? Are you seeing it showing up? Are you seeing signs or cues? Are you following that breadcrumb trail that's showing you that this is working out? Or are you still operating in these same loop cycles of behaviors and feelings and thoughts and emotions and stories that's just more of the same? Because you know you've really done the work if what you're asking for has shown up. Sorry, I mean, I don't mean to be overly simplistic about this, but it's true. And if you are really creating the awareness, which is the first thing I mentioned here, of where you're holding beliefs or feelings or stories that are running counter to that feeling that you're searching for, and you're honest with yourself and you're saying, no, I'm really not doing that. I'm taking actions and behaviors that are aligning with this belief of what I want. I'm moving into and finding places to feel that feeling, living as if, literally, daily, so that I can inhabit more of that energetic. I can be leaning into the alignment of what I'm asking for all the time. But there's something else there. Well, if what you want has not shown up yet, there is something else there. There's more to uncover. And it may very well be that you've released a lot of beliefs and peeled away a lot of layers of resistance. But these may have been fragmentary beliefs that are part of a bigger bottom belief, a bigger iceberg at the bottom of it all. And until you get to that, all those fragmentary beliefs that you've cleared, that's wonderful and that's work well done. But it's not the end-all be-all of your journey of release, because you're still in resistance somewhere, some way. Otherwise, you would start seeing bigger cues, bigger clues that what you're asking for is showing up. It's also self-deception. If you are asking for something so massive that it really is so far out of your comfort zone that you're going to have to do a lot of work to get there. So let's just say, you have a business and you're making $2,000 a month, and now you want to start making $25,000 a month. That's a huge jump. Now, if you've done lots of peeling away of layers and resistance, maybe it is easier for you to get closer to that amount. But what is comfortable for you in terms of money, especially because this is such a highly charged energetic for some of us, many of us, making that jump to making $2,000 a month to $25,000 a month on a subconscious level is going to take you so far down the rabbit hole of unconsciously held beliefs about what is comfortable for you in terms of how much money you can have at any given time, you allow yourself to have at any given time. You'll find ways to sabotage it. You'll find ways to not call it in. You may call it in, and then you may lose it all. If you're not comfortable and energetically aligned with that amount, it's going to be, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's very, very difficult for you to make that leap if you are asking for something so big, especially if in your business you don't have offers in place or things to offer someone else to make that amount. And let's just say you have a $97 course and it's great and people sign up for it, but how many spots in that $97 course are you going to have to sell to make $25,000 that month? You're deceiving yourself. Does that make sense? So there has to be a way for you to take active and aligned and inspired action for you to bring that in. There has to be something that you're doing on an energetic level in terms of your behaviors, an action, or an energy exchange to call that in, okay? I'm currently working on going from literally nothing to at least $5,000 a month. Okay, great. What kind of work are you doing? What kind of work are you doing to work through some of the beliefs? I'm going to give you some help right now, Michael. Ask yourself, okay, what it is that I want. Okay, you want the $5,000 a month. Fantastic. Break that down to the penny. How are you going to spend it? And spend it in such a way where you're being good, Michael. You're taking care of some bills, you're taking care of some financial responsibilities, but you are also bringing in a higher level of self-care. You're bringing in maybe some things that feel like a treat for you, okay? Because if you don't balance the energetic of what you're calling in, if you're just spending that $5,000 on getting rid of debt or getting rid of like some financial responsibility that's been over your head and you're just focusing on that, you are less likely to call that amount in because it will feel like punishment on some level. Like literally the little kid in you is gonna be like, so I don't get to have any fun with this? So that's a tip right there. But also ask yourself, what do I need to start believing to call this in? And what needs to shift in order for me to start believing that? Start right there. Start journaling about it. You will come up with a wealth of information on this, and then you get to go down the rabbit hole and go deeper with your healing work. Okay? I hope that helps. So the self-deception, that's number 2. Okay? What do you keep doing or believing on a daily basis that's keeping you in the energy of, I don't have it yet? So again, going back to that awareness filter that we all have, we often funnel our experience through the filter of lack. So where are you constantly telling yourself, I don't see it yet, it's not here yet, I don't see anything yet? If you are, the brain can't really focus on 2 counter intentions at once. So if you are spending all of your time funneling your experience, your daily experience, your day-to-day life, through this funnel of lack, meaning I don't see it yet, it's not here yet, how are you then able to occupy the opposite, contrasting energetic of, oh, I see all the abundance coming in. I see that trail of breadcrumbs, of all the right people, the right opportunities filtering into my experience. You're not going to see that. Does that make sense? Oh, that's good. Thank you. You're welcome. That's what I'm working on. Awesome, Michael. I'm glad to hear that. So here's a way to start working with your self-deception and where you may be operating in a paradigm of self-deception. And it may be why. It could be that one nugget of resistance that's literally keeping what you have called in at arm's length from you, because you're not moving out of self-deception, meaning I cleared all this. I thought I cleared all this. I thought I did all this. Well, you obviously didn't. There's another deeper layer there, perhaps a bottom belief that is really keeping you in resistance from what you're calling in. So here's what you can ask yourself. If you're in this place of, I don't have it yet. I want this. I desire this. Ask yourself if you fall into one of these 2 camps. I want this, and, meaning you're aligning with that abundance filter. You're aligning with, I want this, and, oh, it feels so good. Every day I'm seeing more evidence of this showing up. I'm feeling more evidence of this showing up. I'm feeling lighter. My heart feels more open. I feel more aware. I feel more connected to the world around me. I feel more grounded. I want this, and is the energy of filtering or funneling through this filter of abundance. Or do you fall into the other camp? You've decided on your desire. I want this, but. Meaning, right away, you're going into that filter of lack. I want this, but I can't do it right now because of this, 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 or this. I want this, but it's not for me. I want this, but everyone else seems to be able to have this, but I can't. I want this, but I've tried it before. I've tried to do this before, and it never worked out. I want this, but I can't possibly make time or allow energy for this in my life right now. Which camp do you fall into? I want this, and excellent. Excellent. That means that you're further along on your continuum of being able to filter things through an abundance filter rather than a lack filter. Awesome. I applaud you. All right. And start thinking about that. And if you fall into the camp of I want this, but, go back to those 3 questions that I just offered to Michael. What is it that you really want? And get very, very clear about what that is and what it feels like to have it. Go back to that first question. What is the feeling I'm searching for? So if you say you want this thing, and let's just say, because money is a great example, I want to make, let's use Michael's example, if that's okay, Michael. I want $5,000 a month. Great. What's the feeling you're searching for? What is that $5,000 a month going to do for you? Think about all the great ways and think about it. That's why it's really important to break that down to the penny. Think about all the great things it will allow for you to do. All the opportunities that then open up for you. All the ways that you can allow more abundance to stream in if you're making that kind of money. Really expand this out as far as you possibly can. What is that feeling I'm searching for? Then that second question, what do I need to start believing to call it in? And you can start right now with all of the things that you're believing that are running counter to it. Start looking at where you might be in self-deception. I want $5,000 a month, but honestly, I don't think that's for me. Be honest with what you feel about it. Because on some energetic level, if you are tapped into this lack, it is running the show to a certain degree. So you have to go after that. You have to heal that. You have to clear that. What do I need to start believing to call that in? So it's easier to start with going through all your counter beliefs, all this shit that you're holding on to right now, okay? Which also provides you the nectar for the third part of that, which is what needs to shift so I can start believing that. So let's just say I want to start making $5,000 a month. Using Michael's example, I need to start believing that I'm offering something of real value. I have content value. Let's just say you have a business. I have value to offer others. And it's not your value, especially if you have a spiritually based business. We can't confuse these two. Even though your business is a profound extension of you as a person, your business has its own energetic. It's the business that calls in the money, not you. So it has everything to do with, it is you ultimately. But in terms of what people are paying for when they sign up for your services, they're paying for what you're offering, the content and the value of what you're offering. They may like you as a person and they may jibe with you, but that's only part of the story for why they signed up with you. They want the benefits of whatever it is course product that you're offering, correct? How good is that? How much value is inherent in that? Are you good at communicating that? Are you effective at being able to show people, tell people the value of that? Where else might you want to start believing certain things? That I have, let's see. I want to feel into this for a second. I am not my parents, even though our parents have modeled certain behaviors, especially around money for us. It's important to see where we might have adopted beliefs or inherited beliefs that came from our parents, our guardians, people who raised us, teachers, mentors even, where we may have adopted those beliefs. They may not be our own, but we still might be living them out or believing in them to a degree like they are our own. What do I need to start believing to make $5,000 a month? That I have real value to offer, that I'm visible. It's easy for my clients to find me, that I am calling in my soulmate ideal clients. I know exactly where they are. I know where they hang out. I know what things they're interested in. These are the things you need to start believing. And then the third part of that, what needs to shift in order to start believing that? Look at your disempowering beliefs that you're holding on to that are inherited or adopted from people who modeled behavior for you from very early on. Because a lot of the things that we still embody and enact when we're adults, they came into our consciousness at a very young age, 6, 7, 8 years old. And we still carry these stories forth and embody the energy of these stories as adults, right? Right, my dad has the same feeling, Michael. That money just doesn't show up out of thin air. And one of the things that I had to battle with is this feeling about my parents thinking, because they really don't understand what I do. They kind of know at this point. But for a long time, they didn't understand what I do. And I had this very strong belief then, based on that they don't really understand what I'm doing, that I was somehow scamming people or being disingenuous with what I offer and that I was making money. And the more money I made, it was like the more scammy I was. That wasn't their belief at all, by the way. But that was mine, and I inherited it based on this really silly belief of, well, my parents don't understand what I do, so they must be thinking all of these negative things about my business. They don't, and I know they don't because I asked them very specifically, they're like, yeah, we don't really understand what you do, but we know you help people. We know that you make yourself available and put yourself out there and you offer a lot of free content and all this stuff. So it kind of feels like when you're asking for more money, that it's commensurate with the amount of value and content you're putting forth. And that when you do offer a bigger service, if that's what you're offering in your free content, they're like, I can only imagine what you offer when you do a paid course. And I was like, what? It was a total wake-up call for me. So what we're holding on to and the behaviors that we're enacting because of certain beliefs that we have that may be totally erroneous, we can be shooting ourselves in the foot resistance-wise over and over and over again. Yes? Does this make sense? My mom just hasn't seen it work, and that's why she sees it so negatively. And to be honest, Michael, this work might not be for her. It may not be her cup of tea. So she might not even want to go into the energetic of seeing how this will work for her, because if she doesn't believe in the ability to be able to do something or offer value, I mean, let's just face it, your mom's probably not your ideal client, right? Courtney says, for me, it's doubt about monetizing a blog being a possibility, even though it is, because I have evidence of people are doing exactly that all over the world. And again, it's about content. Again, it's about content. If you are offering something of real value, think about when you monetize something, and let's just say in terms of what you would pay for. What would you be looking for? If you were to monetize a blog, would you have actual action steps that help people to go from where they are to where they want to be? Like actual physical stuff that they could employ, that they could use, that's easy to use, that they could fit into a schedule that is even the most hectic. If they have kids, and you have that unique insight because you have kids, so you understand what a time crunch is really like. You understand what it's like from the standpoint of, I really want to work on myself, but I don't have time. These could be things that you would talk about in a blog that would be really useful, really tangible information that people would pay money to receive. Think about it that way. Think about it that way. And then get away from this idea of people are paying me. No, they're paying for the content in your blog. Whatever service or product you're offering, you can only feel good about charging money for something that feels commensurate or correlates with the value that you perceive it to have. It's difficult to get into other people's minds and understand how they perceive value. But if you put that in the context of your perspective, like, what would I pay money for? And it could be something that, starts off as a small incremental amount, and maybe as a membership price. That if they pay to have your blog sent to their emails or whatever, let's just say for 6 months, you have a membership price. And then they could choose to add on other offers. That would be a nice segue for you, Courtney, to offer other things like energy healing. And do it at, hey, if you're in my membership blog, you get this special, on-the-spot masterclass healing that I'm going to do at a discounted price because you're already in my membership group for my blog, right? That feels good, separating my person from my product. Here's the third part of all of this, kids, and the thing that brings it all home: allowing yourself to receive. Because all of this is anecdotal. All of this is, what's the word I'm looking for? All of this is really leading up to, do you allow yourself to receive it? Are you in a place where you feel you have value as a person, that you feel you have worth, in order to finally call this stuff in on a physical level so that you can receive all the benefit, all of the good from it? Because none of this means anything unless you allow yourself to receive it. So search for ways to physically inhabit that feeling of receiving abundance. So think about it this way. How many times have you had someone maybe offer you something like really small? Maybe they wanted to buy you a cup of coffee at work, or you have a coworker that wanted to buy you lunch one day. And the idea was that, okay, well, I'll buy you lunch today, maybe next week you buy me lunch or something. But you even don't allow that on that level. Think about it in terms of, this is you saying no to your own divine genetic blueprint and inheritance of abundance. This is essentially you saying no to that source being within you. That is the all that is. What if the universe and the all that is said, no, I don't want this? Think about it that way. Project your individual hologram experience into the world at large of saying no to something that's abundant. Would we even be here right now having this conversation? When you don't allow yourself to receive, it's this energetic signature that you're putting out, not for me, not for me, not for me. Can I get you a cup of coffee today? Let me buy you a cup of coffee. Not for me. Nope. I have this really beautiful coat and I've only worn it twice, but I just don't really like it. And you've commented on it before, and I know it's the $300 coat, but I don't want any money for it. I just want to give it to you, and it looks great on you, and you really like it. You know, I'd rather have it go to you than go to Goodwill, and you loved it. Nope, not for me. That's far too great of a gift. This is something that happened for me. I'll give you an example from my own life. I know a mechanic here in town, and I need some extra work done on my car. And I went in, I had a bunch of services done already, and because I was throwing down a huge chunk of change that day, this very generous person offered to do this extra work free. And his idea was, it's not really free because you're always spending all this money anyway. I'm already here working on it. It's easy for me to work on this. And, you know, I would love to be able to do that for you. I almost said no, because we were talking about probably $500, $600 worth of extra services. But I said yes. I said yes. And I said, yes, thank you. That's beautiful. And if I can ever offer you or your wife maybe an energy healing or do some Reiki on you, please, you know, let me offer that in exchange for you if you would like. But you don't even have to do that. You can just say, yes, thank you. You can just say, yes, that's wonderful, and I really appreciate that. And accept. Or someone giving you free business advice on a Facebook Live. Yes, right? Yes, even just hearing you riff like that blows the possibilities wide open. Now to determine why I didn't allow myself to come up with those types of things myself. Well, here's how wonderful it is when we allow ourselves to receive. This energetic of creativity was already within you, but by showing up to this live today, you are essentially saying yes to the universe. Yes to following that trail of abundance through opening up your abundance filter instead of your lack filter and saying, yes, I'm going to seek out people, places, opportunities that help me say yes to more of what I want. So just think of me in terms of a pathway or a catalyst. That stuff was already there, but you said yes. So you allowed yourself to open up to this. Does that make sense? Do you see how easy it is to actually open up your abundance filter? And I will tell you this, it's a lot easier for us. And you may think I'm full of shit here because a lot of us are working on releasing so much resistance, and I understand this, but it's actually harder for you energetically to be in alignment with resistance and going and putting everything through that funnel of your lack filter than it is to just allow. But we're out of practice, aren't we? Many of us are out of practice with allowing ourselves to receive. Many of us have had behavior modeled for us, and we've had religion shoved down our throat that it's better to give than to receive. That's bullcrap, total bullcrap. Because the whole universe operates on an exchange of energy, a constant flow of energy, of giving and receiving. And it's not the contrast of the two, it's not the duality of two, it's how they come into one. And understanding that giving is only part of receiving, and receiving is only part of giving. Because think about it this way. Perhaps that person that's offering you coffee and you're saying, no, not for me, that energy exchange that I'm talking about might involve them, but it's hard for you to be in their perspective. It may involve them feeling, it makes me feel really good to be of service and just buy someone a cup of coffee because I know the happiness that can provide to make someone feel like supported or make them feel loved or make them feel included. You may be serving that person more by saying yes to them than actually serving yourself in doing the receiving or being on the receiving end. Whoa. Hello? Not anybody there? Does that make sense? This is how the exchange of energies happen in the universe. So when we're not allowing ourselves to receive, we are literally saying no to the inherent flow of the universe. Right? Dina says that's my perspective. Atta girl. Atta girl. So let's just recap. Top 3 ways to reinvigorate your master manifesting abilities. Awareness. Okay, having the awareness of what is the feeling I'm searching for? What am I anchoring into in terms of my feelings? and my behavior every single day that's running counter to that feeling that I'm searching for? Where can I stop doing that? Where can I start occupying that energetic more often of the feeling that I'm searching for? There are always little ways. And if the feeling that you're searching for is wealth, and let's just say, well, I don't have any wealth right now. How do you experience the wealth? Allow yourself to receive a generous kindness from a stranger, even a friend, a family member. Say yes. Say yes. Because that is what wealth is saying yes to you. Saying yes to more. Saying yes to your very powerful I am presence, that you are source, creator, all in one, rolled up in every single moment. Whether you choose to align with that or not and create behaviors that align with that or not, it's entirely up to you. Awareness. Number 2, where are you in self-deception? Okay? What do you keep believing and doing that is keeping you in the energy of that lack filter? I don't have it yet, right? Where are you aligning with hope versus faith? Hope being an attachment, which is unhealthy, an attachment to possibility, like this could be, but versus faith, it's a foregone conclusion. I'm just holding on, I'm being calm. It's coming. The wealth is coming. What I'm asking for is coming. And I'm in that abundance filter mode. I'm seeing all the evidence of it. I'm seeing the cues and the clues. I'm following that trail of abundance breadcrumbs. And to get down the rabbit hole further with this, I want this and abundance filter. I want this but lack filter. Which one? You get to choose. You get to choose. And then number 3, allowing yourself to receive, saying yes, saying yes, saying yes to you, saying yes to your divine inheritance of abundance. This means getting out of that lack filter of, nope, not for me. Not for me. It's not for me. It's for other people, but it's not for me. It's for you, but you have to start aligning your beliefs with that, and you need to shift out of the feelings that don't allow you to align with those beliefs. I know it's happening exactly where I'm at. Yes, yes, I love it. Faith, right? Expectation. Expectation versus, this might happen. I'm tapping into wealth by feeling it more. Yes, that's the only way we're going to know what wealth consciousness is. We have to feel it first. It has to be a feeling first. We often think, well, I'll feel it when I start seeing it. Nope, that's backwards. You'll start seeing it when you start feeling it. Yeah. Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining me. I always love when you guys are active participants because it's a lot more fun for me to go live and do this. This is great. Thanks, Dana. So I did an abundance lab, which was about a year ago. It's a 4-week class on belief work around abundance. And I'm doing it again, but it's different because now we're just focusing on money. It's going to be the money lab, and it's going to start in a couple weeks. And for 4 weeks of doing this work, really in depth, and helping you manifest more money, we are doing this work for 4 weeks together. And if you want to do it, it's going to be $197. I'm keeping the investment really low. If you've been in the abundance lab, I'm going to offer to you for $97. So if you've already done the abundance lab with me, you get a $100 discount on it. But either way, there's going to be a lot of content, a lot of value in here. Let's face it, folks, we're coming up towards the end of the year. And that kind of puts us into this desperation mode sometimes of, I didn't make the money this year that I wanted to. Why didn't I make the money this year Well, you know what? It's not too late. And for many of us, we start to panic around the holidays. We go down the rabbit hole with all of our desperate feelings around money when we approach the holidays. So let's get rid of that right now. Let's work through that for 4 weeks, an investment of $197, the Money Lab. So if you're in, just leave it in the comments here. I'd love to have you come join us. The last one we did, the Abundance Lab, super, super powerful. And when you join, I forgot to mention, when you join, you get access to the Abundance Lab as well. It's 4 weeks of doing belief work. But the Money Lab is going to be about mindset. It's going to be about energy healing and creating new practices, new behaviors to help you embody the feeling that you're searching for. So there it is. Thank you so much, guys. Mwah. Love and peace.